Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the FedExForum in Memphis, Tennessee, and this was the go-home show for Payback, which is this Saturday. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought it was an okay show tonight. I wasn't bored by it, but overall, it was just an okay show. Tonight on Monday Night Raw, we saw Damian Priest. He ended up taking on Sami Zayn. We had the Viking Raiders versus the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. We had Gable versus Ludwig Kaiser. We also saw Tommaso Ciampa in action, where he ended up taking on Bronson Reed. And the main event, we had a Falls Count Anywhere match. Becky Lynch versus Zoey Stark. And I'm surprised we did not get a Judgment Day tag team main event. So that was pretty good. But Monday Night Raw tonight, thought it was an okay show. But before I get into the review, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video, my AEW All In review is up. Uploaded it earlier today, so definitely go check it out if you guys haven't seen it. But fantastic show All In was. Great atmosphere there in Wembley Stadium in London. It was, in my opinion, AEW's WrestleMania. So check out my review of All In, if you guys haven't seen it. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw open up tonight with Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest. Surprised, no 10-15 minute promo that opens Monday Night Raw every week. We didn't get that tonight. We went right into the first match of the night. And this was a good match here between Sami Zayn and Damian Priest. They worked really well here in the match. So the match got underway. Both Sami and Priest ended up locking up. Priest ended up powering Sami Zayn against the ropes. And we had Priest end up kneeing Sami Zayn in his midsection. Priest then applied a side headlock on Sami Zayn, to which Sami Zayn whipped Damian Priest off. Priest came back. He delivered a shoulder tackle to Sami Zayn. Priest then kicked Sami Zayn in his chest. He ended up sending Sami down to his knees with a right hand. So Priest ended up putting the side headlock back on Sami Zayn. Priest then cinched in the side headlock. So Sami Zayn soon whipped Priest off. He ended up dropping down. He ended up leapfrogging Priest, and he hit Priest with a deep arm drag. Priest ended up quickly fighting up. He ended up backing Sami Zayn to the corner. Sami Zayn ended up ducking a right hand from Priest, and we had Sami Zayn end up delivering a chop to Damian Priest. So Priest ended up grabbing Sami Zayn by the neck, and he threw Sami Zayn to the corner. Priest kicked Sami Zayn down in the corner, started punching him in the face. Priest then whipped Sami Zayn to the opposite corner. He ended up charging at Sami, but Sami ended up elbowing Priest back. Sami then came off the second rope with a flying elbow to Priest's head, and Sami ended up going for the cover. Priest ended up kicking out. Priest then got out of the ring to recover. Sami ended up slightly catching Priest with a baseball slide, and then he ended up kicking Priest back. Sami Zayn then ended up hitting a split-legged moonsault block off the top rope down to the floor on Priest, which was great. Sami Zayn ended up getting Priest back into the ring, and he ended up getting Priest in the corner for the 10 punches. Priest then powered out as Sami Zayn ended up punching him at 5, but Sami Zayn ended up chopping Priest. Sami then scaled the ropes for a tornado DDT, but Priest ended up avoiding that. Priest then turned Sami Zayn inside out with a clothesline. So Priest then started stomping away at Sami. Priest then pulled Sami Zayn up and forearmed him in the jaw. Priest had Sami in the corner, ended up dropping him with a right hand. Priest then mashed his boot into Sami Zayn's face. Priest then backed up. He ended up charging for a run elbow to Sami Zayn. Priest then connected with the broken arrow, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Sami ended up kicking out too. Priest then applied a surfboard stretch to Sami. Sami ended up fighting up. He ended up twisting out of the surfboard stretch before kicking Priest in the face. Sami then ended up sending Priest over the top rope, and he hit the ropes. Priest got on the apron and grabbed Sami by his beard. Sami then ended up punching Priest, and he dragged Priest into the ring post. Sami then ended up going for the plancha, but Priest caught Sami, and he ended up hitting a flatliner on the commentary table to Sami Zayn. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Priest was in control of the match. Priest attempted a superplex off the second rope. Sami Zayn fought back. He ended up hitting a sunset flip sit out powerbomb to Priest, which Priest's head hit the mat. So Sami ended up going for the cover, and Priest ended up kicking out. So both Priest and Sami ended up slowly getting to their feet. Sami started punching away at Priest. Priest then reversed the whip, but Sami Zayn springboarded off the bottom rope over Priest. Sami then ended up sending Priest over the top rope. Sami then hit the ropes and hit a somersault senton onto Priest. Sami then got Priest in the ring. He came off the top rope. Priest then grabbed Sami for the South of Heaven, but Sami ended up getting out of that. Sami then avoided an avalanche in the corner from Priest, and Priest's face bounced off the ring post. Sami then connected with the Blue Thunder Bomb, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Priest ended up kicking out. Priest then rolled to the apron to recover. Sami then ended up pulling Priest up, but Priest snapped Sami Zayn off the top rope. Priest then ended up kicking Sami in the face, and he got into the ring. So Priest ended up kicking Sami in the midsection. He ended up going for the Razor's Edge, but Sami ended up wiggling out of that. He ended up hitting an explosive suplex into the turnbuckles to Priest. So Sami ended up getting fired up to hit the haluva kick to Priest, but JD McDonough ended up running down. JD McDonough ended up grabbing Sami's feet. Priest ended up using that distraction from JD McDonough to hit Sami Zayn with the South of Heaven. So Priest ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Damian Priest ended up winning the match. Post-match, Priest grabbed his Money in the Bank briefcase, and he raised it in the air. McDonough then got into the ring. He ended up raising Priest's arm again. Priest pulled away, and he ended up shoving JD McDonough down. Priest ended up telling McDonough to stay out of his business. So then Priest stormed off. McDonough then turned around, and he saw that he was in the ring with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, he was shown wearing a black armband that said Wyndham on it, of course in honor of Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt. So both Owens and Sami end up attacking McDonough. Owens end up dropping McDonough with the stunner. They end up sending McDonough to the corner. Owens end up sitting on the top turnbuckle, and he watched Sami hit the haluva kick to McDonough. Priest then watched on from the aisleway, and pretty much that was basically that. But overall, good match between Damian Priest and Sami Zayn here to open up Monday Night Raw. And then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was backstage. He was looking at a piece of paper. Akira Tozawa was there. Akira Tozawa was like, "Oh, you look great," to Drew McIntyre. And then he up run off. And I'm like, that was awkward. So then McIntyre turned the piece of paper around, and it showed that it was a picture of him wearing neon green tights that looked like Matt Riddle's. So Matt Riddle walked up. He up asking McIntyre what he thinks. He up saying that every great team has matching gear. To which McIntyre ended up saying to Riddle that they have to see if this will work out before they make any changes. Riddle ended up saying that he thinks he means matching kilts. So Riddle ended up saying that he wants to get them ringside seats for New Day versus the Viking Raiders to see their strengths and weaknesses. He ended up saying that he'll eat a hot dog and McIntyre can have haggis. McIntyre then ended up telling Riddle that he'd love to see those idiots get beaten. Riddle ended up thinking that the idiots are the New Day, but McIntyre ended up saying that he means the Viking Raiders. He ended up saying that he'll see Riddle out there. So pretty much that was that. So then we had LA Knight's music end up hitting, which got a big ovation. So people thought that LA Knight was coming out. But it wasn't LA Knight. It was The Miz dressed as LA Knight. And the crowd ended up booing because they realized that LA Knight wasn't there. So this was stupid, in my opinion, this whole segment here with The Miz impersonating LA Knight. So The Miz imitates Knight. He ended up saying, "Let me talk to you. Yeah." So Miz ended up saying that gaining the crowd support takes more than a catchphrase. He ended up saying that's why he bought out a bag of free LA Knight t-shirts. He ended up saying, if you want a free LA Knight shirt, give me a hell. And then he's like, oh wait, oh yeah. So Miz ended up spiking a t-shirt at ringside. He kicked the bag out of the ring. Miz then ripped off the LA Knight merchandise that he was wearing. So he had a chant pickup for LA Knight from the crowd there. So Miz was like, oh, well, oh yeah, I'm better than LA Knight, yeah. Oh, I have more charisma than LA Knight, yeah. So that's what he was doing. I gotta say, he did a really good impression of LA Knight there, but just, it was stupid of him just going, oh, I have more charisma than LA Knight, yeah. I have, the good looks than LA Knight, yeah. Or whatever the Miz was saying. Who cares? So Miz ended up saying that the fans are pathetic and will cheer for anybody. He ended up saying anybody could be LA Knight. He ended up saying that it's generic and vanilla, and anyone can pander. Miz ended up saying that he doesn't do catchphrases. He ended up saying that he's awesome. It's not an applause line. He ended up saying that it's reality. Oh, I'm sorry. When you say, oh, and I'm awesome, it is a catchphrase. It is your catchphrase. Especially when you go, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. That's a catchphrase. So Miz ended up saying that when he exposes LA Knight on Saturday, the party is over. He ended up saying that the fans will cheer for free t-shirts and catchphrases, but won't cheer losers. He ended up saying that's what LA Knight will be in 5 days' time. So Miz ended up saying that he will immortalize whose game it really is. He ended up saying, M-I-Z, yeah. So that was what the Miz had to say. But Miz, like I said, he did a good impression of LA Knight, but stupid whenever he would say, oh, I'm better than LA Knight, yeah. Oh, I give a big ovation. I get a big ovation than LA Knight, yeah. Or whatever Miz was saying. That's what Miz was doing. He was like, after every sentence, yeah, yeah, yeah. So then we had the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. So this was a decent match here. So we had the New Day end up making their way down to the ring. And then Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre made their way down to the ring. They were seated at ringside for the match. And then we had the Viking Raiders end up coming out along with Valhalla. So the match started off with Xavier Woods and Eric. Both Woods and Eric end up locking up. Eric ended up powering Woods into the corner. Woods end up getting out of the corner. He ended up chopping at Eric's chest. Woods applied a side headlock on Eric. Eric then tried to whip Woods off, but Woods ended up holding on to the headlock. Woods was eventually whipped off, but Woods ended up shoulder tackling Eric down. Woods attacked Eric's shoulder before Eric came back and rocked Woods with a forearm. Woods then slingshotted over Eric. He ended up going for the twisting DDT, but Eric countered that into a sidewalk slam to Woods. So Ivar tagged in. So the Viking Raiders double teamed on Xavier Woods with some punches. Of course, Valhalla let out a primal scream because she was enjoying that. So Ivar started punching Xavier Woods down. He tagged Eric back in. Ivar ended up sending Woods into Eric, who ended up kneeing him down. So Eric ended up going for the cover, and Woods ended up kicking out. So Woods ended up knocking Ivar, who ended up tagging back in, but Ivar ended up kneeing Woods down. Woods started to fight the Raiders off, and he tagged Kofi in. Kofi ended up springboarding off the top rope with a diving clothesline to the Raiders. Kingston ended up knocking Eric off the apron. He delivered some chops to Ivar's chest. Kingston then super kicked Ivar, but Ivar soon ended up getting him in the corner. Ivar ended up charging at Kofi, but Kofi connected with a pendulum kick to Ivar. Kingston then ended up hitting a top rope crossbody block to Ivar, to which he ended up going for the cover. Ivar kicked out. Kofi then connected with a boom drop to Ivar. Eric then pulled Ivar out of the ring. Woods ended up hitting Eric with a baseball slide. Kofi then took out Ivar with a thrust dive, and Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Ivar ended up splashing Kofi, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Kofi kicked out at 2. Ivar then ended up attacking Kofi with some strikes before getting him in the corner, and he was delivering some back elbows. Ivar then whipped Kofi to the opposite corner, but Kofi ended up springboarding out of the corner with a drop kick to Ivar. Valhalla got on the ring apron, and she pointed at Xavier Woods. Ivar then knocked Woods off the apron, and he ended up getting Kofi in the corner. Eric then ended up tagging in, so the Viking Raiders then double teamed on Kofi. Eric ended up digging a knee into Kofi's back, and he pulled back on Kofi's neck. So Kofi ended up fighting out. Eric kept Kofi from making the tag to Woods. So Ivar then tagged in. He ended up forearming Kofi in the face. Eric then ended up tagging in. He booted Kofi in the head. Eric then ended up knocking Woods off the apron. Woods then stormed into the ring, but the ref ended up holding him back. So the Viking Raiders took advantage of the distraction, and they double-teamed Kofi. Ivar then ended up shouting at McIntyre and Riddle, of course, who were watching at ringside. Kofi ended up chopping back at Ivar, and he ended up punching Eric. So Ivar quickly ended up flooring Kofi with a big boot, to which Ivar ended up going for the cover, and Kofi ended up kicking out. So later on, we had Ivar end up grabbing Kofi, and he drove Kofi into McIntyre and Riddle. So Ivar got into the ring. Ivar ended up sidestepping a flying chair from McIntyre because McIntyre ended up throwing the chair. McIntyre ended up going to throw a chair at Eric, but Eric moved out of the way, and the chair ended up hitting Xavier Woods instead. So Ivar ended up hitting McIntyre with a cannonball off the apron. He then ended up sending Kofi into the ring. Eric tagged in. Kofi then ended up chopping Ivar, but Ivar responded by turning Kofi inside out with a spinning leg kick. So then the Viking Raiders ended up hitting Kofi with the Ragnarok. So there you go. The Viking Raiders ended up winning the match. Post-match, McIntyre and Riddle ended up getting into the ring. They quickly chased the Viking Raiders out of there. And both McIntyre and Riddle end up checking on Xavier Woods at ringside. And that was that. But overall, this was a decent match. Decent tag team match between the New Day and the Viking Raiders here. So then we saw the Judgment Day backstage. Balor, Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio. So Balor ended up telling Priest that they're always arguing and that they need to be on the same page to win the titles on Saturday. Priest ended up telling Balor that they do need to get it together and that they need to focus on Judgment Day business instead of people that don't matter, like JD McDonough. Balor ended up telling Priest that McDonough is the only reason Priest beat Sami Zayn earlier in the night, and then he left him lying. Priest ended up saying that he doesn't care about McDonough, and that he cares about this family. So Rhea Ripley ended up stepping in, and she ended up saying that they always talk about the Judgment Day being a dominant faction, only for them to fall apart because of Balor and Priest. She ended up saying that the only ones handling the Judgment Day business are her and Dominic. She ended up telling Balor and Priest to make it right this Saturday at Payback, and that they'll remind everyone that the Judgment Day is a force to be reckoned with and win when it matters. She ended up saying that if the Judgment Day don't all walk out with gold at the end of Payback, there will be changes around here. So Rhea Ripley ended up ordering Dominic to grab the titles. They end up walking off. Priest ended up holding up the Money in the Bank briefcase. He ended up saying that he has no problem winning gold. So that was basically that. And then, of course, we had the video package paying tribute to Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, which we saw Friday on SmackDown. Very well done video package, tribute for Bray Wyatt. And then at the end of that, we had the lights out in the arena and the fireflies in the audience lit up the FedExForum. And we had a thank you Bray chant pick up from the crowd. And Wyatt's music ended up playing. And the spotlight ended up shining on the rocking chair on the stage. So we saw that. But beautiful tribute for Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, he will be missed. So now we saw Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston walked out of the trainer's room. Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle were waiting outside. And McIntyre and Riddle end up asking Kofi about Xavier Woods. Kofi ended up saying that he knows that McIntyre didn't mean that. McIntyre ended up saying that him and Riddle are going to take care of the Viking Raiders next week. So Riddle ended up saying that he's excited that McIntyre thinks of them as a team. So that's that. Next week on Monday Night Raw, it's going to be McIntyre and Riddle taking on the Viking Raiders. And then we had Imperium, Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci end up making their way out. So we had the replay being shown from last week where Chad Gable ended up beating Gunther by countout last week. And, Chad Gable was the first man to defeat Gunther in a singles match since Gunther's main roster debut. So then we saw Gunther standing on the commentary table with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci standing at ringside. Gunther got on the mic. He ended up saying that last week, Chad Gable became the first man to defeat the Ring General in more than 500 days by countout in a championship match. He ended up saying that Chad Gable gained a victory, but in reality, he has won nothing because he is still the Intercontinental Champion. So the crowd ended up booing Gunther. Gunther ended up saying that Gable has achieved one thing, and he achieved one thing by pissing him off. So he ended up saying that Chad Gable has his focus. He ended up saying that if Chad Gable was the last thing between him and his rightful legacy, then so be it. He ended up saying Chad Gable will challenge him for the Intercontinental Championship next week on Monday Night Raw. He ended up saying just like Chad Gable will not beat him next week, he will not be beating his best man tonight. So then we heard Chad Gable come out on the mic. He ended up saying, shush. So Chad Gable made his way out to the ring alongside Otis and Maxine Dupree. Chad Gable ended up saying that normally he'd give Gunther a big shush, but he won't do that tonight. He ended up saying that Gunther is making some good points. He ended up saying that Gunther has been on the main roster for 2 years, and no one has managed to beat him. That is, until last week. So Chad Gable ended up saying that he handed Gunther his first loss and found a way to do it in only 10 seconds. He ended up saying next week the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line. He ended up saying that it won't take him 10 seconds to take the title. He'll take it away in 3. He ended up saying, well, that's next week. So Chad Gable ended up saying, as for tonight, Captain Kaiser can get his carcass in the ring because Master Gable is going to cook him up Memphis style. And then Chad Gable was like, oh, thank you. So then we had the match, Ludwig Kaiser versus Chad Gable. This was a decent match here. Chad Gable ended up taking Kaiser down. So Gable and Kaiser ended up tussling on the mat. Gable then applied a front facelock, but Kaiser ended up twisting out of that. Kaiser then reversed the whip, but Chad Gable ended up giving Kaiser a hip toss over the top rope. Gable then ended up hitting Kaiser with a cannonball off the apron. Chad Gable then ripped his shirt off, and he threw his shirt at Gunther. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kaiser was shown fighting out of a waistlock locked in by Gable. Gable ended up charging Kaiser toward the ropes. He had sent him to ringside. Kaiser's feet got caught in the ropes, and Kaiser nearly landed on his face. Kaiser quickly ended up getting up, and he got back to the ring. Gable ended up hitting a few arm drags to Kaiser. Kaiser then quickly elbowed Gable back. He ended up taking Gable down for an arm lock. Gable then ended up fighting up, but Kaiser ended up powering Gable down. Gable then fought up. He ended up twisting out before hitting a drop toe hold to Kaiser. Gable then applied an armbar, and Kaiser ended up fighting up, but Gable ended up twisting Kaiser's arm. Kaiser then tried to whip Gable off, but Gable ended up taking him down. Kaiser then soon started to club away at Gable, and he ended up delivering a shoulder tackle to Gable. So Gable then connected with a chop. He ended up taking Kaiser down for an ankle lock. Kaiser ended up getting to the ropes and pulled himself up. Kaiser then kicked Gable in the face. He ended up hitting a clothesline to Gable. Kaiser then whipped Gable to the opposite corner, but Gable slingshotted over him. He ended up hitting a monkey flip. Gable ended up going for a second monkey flip, but Kaiser ended up turning Gable around. He ended up putting him on the top rope. Gable quickly ended up hitting a hanging arm bar to Kaiser. Gable then sat up on the top rope, and Kaiser ended up slapping Gable in the face to knock him down to the floor. Kaiser ended up going to ringside, and he ended up hitting a running uppercut to Gable. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Gable ended up hitting a pair of belly-to-belly side suplexes to Kaiser. Kaiser fought out of a third belly-to-belly suplex. He ended up rocking Gable with a right hand. Kaiser then ended up sending Gable shoulder first into the ring post. So Gable later on, he ended up hitting a DDT to Kaiser. He ended up going for the cover, to which Kaiser ended up kicking out. And Gable looked like he was bleeding from the mouth here at this point. Gable then ended up hitting a T-bone suplex, and he sent Kaiser and Vinci both over the top rope with a running crossbody block. Gable ended up going to the top rope. He ended up hitting Kaiser and Vinci with a moonsault block down to the floor. Gable ended up getting Kaiser in the ring. He came off the top rope. Gable then avoided a boot from Kaiser, and he applied the ankle lock. Kaiser ended up trying to twist out of the ankle lock, but Gable still had the ankle lock locked on. Kaiser soon ended up kicking Gable away. He ended up uppercutting Gable into the corner. Kaiser then ended up lifting Gable up, but Gable ended up sliding off. He ended up hitting the Chaos Theory to Kaiser. So we had Gable ended up going for the cover. Giovanni Vinci came into the ring, broke up the pin, and so the ref ended up calling for the bell. So Chad Gable won the match by disqualification. Post-match, Otis ended up hitting Vinci with a suplex, and he ended up mauling Vinci in the corner. Kaiser ended up attacking Otis, and Vinci ended up joining in. So Kaiser and Vinci ended up double teaming on Otis. They both ended up sending Otis hard into the ring post, shoulder first. Gable then fought back, but of course, the numbers game ended up coming into play with Vinci and Kaiser double teaming on Gable. Gunther then ended up coming back to ringside, and he got into the ring. Gunther ended up going for a powerbomb on Chad Gable, but Gable countered that, and he ended up taking Gunther down. He ended up going for the ankle lock on Gunther, to which Vinci and Kaiser quickly double teamed Gable, and then Gunther then ended up hitting Gable with a powerbomb. So then Imperium stood tall in the ring, and so that was that. But it was pretty cool to see Gable lock in that ankle lock on Gunther. But overall, decent match between Kaiser and Chad Gable. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, highlights were shown of Bob Barker's appearance on Monday Night Raw in 2009 when Bob Barker was the guest host, which he was, in my opinion, the best guest host that Monday Night Raw had at that time. You know, when Monday Night Raw was doing all these guest hosts. So, but rest in peace, Bob Barker. You know, he passed away, last week. But it's been a horrible week. You know, we had Terry Funk passing away, and then the next day, Bray Wyatt passed, and then 2 days later, on Saturday, Bob Barker passed. Crazy. But glad to have grown up with Bob Barker, watching The Price is Right. So he was, the best host of Price is Right. Drew Carey does a good job, but nowhere near as Bob Barker did for Price is Right. But I like Drew Carey and all as host of Price is Right. So then we had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins ended up coming out. He ended up calling out Shinsuke Nakamura. So Rollins came out to a big ovation. Everybody was doing, whoa. And that went on for like a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes tops. So Rollins then bowed. He ended up grabbing a mic. He ended up saying, Memphis, Tennessee, yowie wowie. Of course, in honor of Bray Wyatt. He ended up saying, welcome to Monday Night Rollins. He ended up saying that he is the visionary, the revolutionary. He ended up saying that it has been a long week, so he'll keep this short and sweet. He ended up saying this Saturday at Payback, he'll give Shinsuke Nakamura a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship. He ended up saying right here and now, Nakamura should give him what he wants. Rollins ended up saying that if Nakamura has more mind games to play and mean things to say, he can come down the aisle and say them to his face. So Nakamura didn't come out. Rollins ended up saying that Nakamura shouldn't deprive these fine people. And they wanted to sing his song. But he was like, oh wait, they don't sing Nakamura's song anymore. So Rollins ended up saying maybe he'll head to Beale Street, have a stiff drink, and have them sing his song all night long. To which the crowd went back to singing Rollins' song, whoa. It's like sing-along time. So then, a video was on the Titantron. Nakamura was speaking in Japanese, but of course, it was in subtitles. Nakamura ended up saying that he doesn't want to simply defeat Seth Rollins, and that he wants to dismantle the man. So footage was shown of Nakamura practicing MMA. Nakamura ended up saying that he wants Rollins' wife to know that he's the reason she has to help him out of bed. Of course, Becky Lynch. Nakamura made it a reference to Becky Lynch, Rollins' wife. So Nakamura ended up saying that he is the reason that Rollins won't walk his daughter down the aisle on her wedding day, and that Rollins' body has betrayed him. Nakamura ended up saying that he will destroy Rollins' back and put him out of his misery. He ended up saying that Rollins has no honor and no future. So Rollins did not look happy about that. Rollins then took off his glasses. So Rollins sarcastically ended up saying, "That's it from the legendary Shinsuke Nakamura? A video package?" So Rollins ended up saying that he wants to know what happened to the Shinsuke Nakamura who headlined the Tokyo Dome. He ended up saying that he wants to know what happened to Shinsuke Nakamura who lit the world on fire when he came to NXT. So Rollins ended up saying that a month ago, he would have given him the shirt off his back, the same back that is broken in 2 places. Rollins ended up saying that his broken back didn't stand in the way of him becoming World Heavyweight Champion. He ended up saying that it won't stand in the way of him being Nakamura's ass on Saturday. Rollins ended up saying that he will pummel Nakamura until someone pulls him off him. He ended up saying that when Nakamura is lying there defeated, he will know that he will never take anything from him. Not his title, not his future, and not his family. So suddenly, Nakamura ran into the ring, and he ended up kicking Rollins in the back. Nakamura then ended up holding Rollins' head. He ended up saying that he told him to watch his back. So Nakamura then laid Rollins out with a straight kick to Rollins' face. So Nakamura then walked off, leaving Rollins unconscious in the ring. So that was that. But overall, should be a pretty good match between Rollins and Nakamura Saturday at Payback for the World Heavyweight Championship. So then we saw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he's tired of doing this. He ended up saying for too long the Judgment Day keeps coming back, like that cheap win over him tonight. He ended up saying that they got a cheap DQ last week and now a title match. He ended up saying that they'll do this one more time this Saturday. Owens ended up saying that the rules won't play in Judgment Day's favor and that they're sick of this. He ended up saying that they went to Adam Pearce and got something made official. So Owens ended up saying, what do they call Pittsburgh? The Steel City? So Owens ended up saying that they'll have a Steel City street fight for the titles. Owens ended up saying that he has been slammed off a steel cage through a table before, but it will be nothing compared to what they do this Saturday. So there you go. Steel City street fight Saturday at Payback. So then we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Bronson Reed. So Tommaso Ciampa ended up making his way out, and then Bronson Reed ended up attacking Tommaso Ciampa from behind. Reed then walked to the ring. Reed got into the ring, but Ciampa ended up attacking Reed. Ciampa started punching Reed in the ring, and he sidestepped him to send Reed out to the floor. Reed goes to get into the ring, but Ciampa ended up kneeing Reed in the face to send him back to ringside. Ciampa then ended up hitting a flying knee to Reed's face off the apron. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, the match got underway. Ciampa ended up chopping away at Reed's chest. Reed ended up shoving Ciampa back, but Ciampa ended up booting Reed. Ciampa came off the second rope to take Reed down, and he started punching away at him. Ciampa then hit the ropes, but Reed ended up stopping Ciampa in his tracks with a crossbody block. Reed then ended up dropping a massive elbow on Ciampa. Reed then ended up going for a delayed vertical suplex, but Ciampa ended up kneeing Reed in the head. Ciampa then jumped on Reed's back, but Reed backed Ciampa into the corner. Ciampa then drop kicked the knee and ended up sending Reed into the bottom turnbuckle head first. Ciampa somehow ended up lifting Reed up. He ended up hitting the white noise to Reed, and Ciampa ended up going for the cover, to which Reed ended up kicking out. So Ciampa then back to the corner. He ended up pulling his knee pad down. Ciampa ended up charging at Reed, but Reed ended up avalanching Ciampa down. So later on, we had Reed end up going for a powerbomb on the commentary table, but Ciampa ended up getting out. Ciampa got into the ring. He ended up catching Reed with the Widow's Bell as Reed ended up coming into the ring. Ciampa then ended up hitting a running knee to Reed's face, and then Ciampa ended up going for the cover, to which Reed kicked out. So we had Ciampa end up taking Reed down with a crucifix, which both guys kind of botched that, and Ciampa ended up getting the pin on Reed, which was a really sloppy-looking, weak pin. So Tommaso Ciampa ended up winning the match, and so that was that. Overall, just a very meh match it was. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Becky Lynch. Redmond ended up asking if Becky has any second thoughts about her Falls Count Anywhere match against Zoey Stark. Becky ended up saying that the only thought she has about is beating Zoey Stark all over the arena. Becky ended up saying that she doesn't want the easy way. She wants chaos. So that was what Becky had to say. And then Rhea Ripley made her way out to the ring alongside Dominic. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Rhea Ripley was in the ring with Dominic, and Tiffany Stratton, who is the NXT Women's Champion, was shown at ringside. Don't know why Tiffany Stratton was there. But it was cool to see, Tiffany Stratton there. So Rhea Ripley ended up saying that Raquel Rodriguez claims that she will cut her down to size. She ended up saying that's cute coming from someone who had to play up an injury to pull one over on her. Ripley ended up saying that it was a smart trick, but that's the first and last time that will ever happen. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that she doesn't blame Raquel, and that her resume speaks for itself. She ended up saying that Raquel won't come out here and tell them about her accomplishments because it will take too damn long. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that the championship around her waist proves absolutely everything. She ended up saying that Raquel thinks she'll take her championship at Payback this Saturday. To which Rhea ended up saying that's another reason why Raquel is an idiot. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that she won't take anything away from Raquel. She ended up saying that Raquel has her own accomplishments as well, and that she's big and tough. But she's not Rhea Bloody Ripley, to which that got a big pop from the crowd. Fans, loving Rhea Ripley. So Rhea ended up saying that Raquel can talk all she likes, but when it comes to Payback, Mammy is walking out as champion. So Raquel Rodriguez's music ended up hitting, and she wasn't smiling on her way down. So she stormed down to the ring. Rhea Ripley ended up waiting for her. Raquel ended up getting into the ring. Raquel and Rhea started to brawl. Raquel ended up throwing Ripley into the corner, ended up attacking her. Raquel then whipped Rhea to the opposite corner and avalanched her. Raquel then ended up hitting the fallaway slam, which sent Rhea out of the ring. So Dominic Mysterio sneaked up behind Raquel, but Dominic didn't do anything, and that led to Rhea Ripley coming up and headbutting Raquel. Rhea Ripley ended up going for the riptide, but Raquel fought out of that. Raquel ended up clotheslining Rhea Ripley down, and Rhea then retreated, and that was that. And then we had Trish Stratus backstage with Zoey Stark. Trish Stratus ended up saying that Becky Lynch is an idiot for offering a Falls Count Anywhere match against WWE's fastest rising star in Zoey Stark. Trish Stratus ended up saying that Stark will leave a leftover for her on Saturday. So Zoey Stark ended up promising to leave something for Trish to beat on Saturday. So that was that. Hopefully this feud ends at Payback on Saturday between Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. This feud has been fucking awful. Absolutely awful. It needs to end Saturday at Payback. So then we had a video package, celebrating, the life of Terry Funk. Good tribute for Terry Funk there. Same video package that we saw on SmackDown on Friday. Very well put together. Terry Funk, may he rest in peace. Main event. Falls Count Anywhere match. Becky Lynch versus Zoey Stark. Becky Lynch made her way out first to the ring. And then Zoey Stark made her way out, accompanied by Trish Stratus. Zoey Stark was holding a kendo stick. So Becky Lynch ended up going under the ring. She grabbed the kendo stick as well. And the match got underway, which the match itself, it was not bad. It was fine for what it was. So both women got into the ring. Becky Lynch ended up attacking Stark with the kendo stick. Becky Lynch ended up laying in some shots to the back and legs with the kendo stick to Zoey Stark. Lynch ended up hitting the side leg sweep with the kendo stick to Zoey Stark, which she ended up going for the coverage, which Stark ended up kicking out. Becky then applied a crossface using the kendo stick on Stark. Stark ended up getting to the ropes and pulled herself out of the ring. Becky then ended up hitting the baseball slide and attacked Zoey Stark at ringside. Trish Stratus then grabbed the kendo stick and ended up attacking Becky with the kendo stick. So Trish Stratus ended up laying in 2 shots to Becky's back with the kendo stick. So pretty much basically it was a 2-on-1 attack on Becky Lynch here from Trish Stratus and Zoey Stark. So Zoey Stark ended up going for a powerbomb on the floor to Becky, but Becky ended up grabbing the ropes and she ended up going to the apron. Becky ended up climbing the turnbuckles. Trish Stratus tried to attack, but Becky Lynch ended up knocking Trish Stratus down. Becky then ended up hitting a crossbody block off the top rope to the floor on both Zoey Stark and Trish Stratus. So we had Becky Lynch ended up going for the cover on the floor to Zoey Stark, to which Zoey Stark ended up kicking out. So Stark ended up taking Becky Lynch down for a 2 count. Zoey Stark ended up getting Becky Lynch in the ring. Becky ended up attacking Stark, but Stark ended up taking Becky down. Stark ended up connecting with a springboard missile drop kick to Becky, to which she ended up going for the cover, and Becky ended up kicking out at 2. Trish then ended up grabbing a steel chair from under the ring. She threw the chair into the ring, and the chair hit Zoey Stark right in the face. So Zoey Stark shook it off, and she was like, "Oh, that's okay. That's okay," to Trish Stratus. To which at first, I thought that was an accident. I thought that wasn't supposed to happen. But unfortunately, something else happened later on, which I will get to. So Becky Lynch ended up rolling Zoey Stark up, to which Stark ended up kicking out. Stark ended up quickly clotheslining Becky down. Trish Stratus ended up throwing more chairs into the ring. So there were a pile of chairs set up in the ring. Zoey Stark ended up attacking Becky. And the crowd didn't even care. They were just chanting, "We want tables." To which Stark was like, "Oh, you all don't deserve tables." So Stark ended up pulling Becky Lynch on the top rope. She ended up going for a superplex into the chair pile, but Becky ended up fighting Stark off. Trish Stratus then grabbed Becky's ankle, but Becky ended up kicking Trish away. Becky ended up knocking Zoey Stark onto the top rope. She ended up hitting a diving leg drop, and she ended up going for the cover, to which Stark ended up kicking out. Becky ended up going for this armor, but Stark ended up fighting out of it. She ended up sweeping the feet to land Becky on the chairs. Stark ended up going for the Z360, but Becky ended up getting out. She ended up hitting the manhandle slam to Zoey Stark. So Becky ended up going for the cover, and Trish Stratus ended up breaking up the pin. So Becky Lynch was irate, and she was chasing Trish Stratus around ringside. Trish Stratus then grabbed the kendo stick. So Becky Lynch then ended up pulling the kendo stick out of Trish's hands. Becky then started beating Trish Stratus around ringside with the kendo stick. She then started beating Trish Stratus up the ramp and to the back. So Becky Lynch turned around, and Zoey Stark ended up hitting a chair shot to Becky's midsection. Stark then ended up taking Becky down with another chair shot. She ended up going for the cover, to which Becky ended up kicking out. So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Becky Lynch and Zoey Stark were fighting in the crowd. Becky Lynch ended up sending Zoey Stark over the barricade back to ringside. Becky then ended up standing on the barricade. She had pinned a diving clothesline to Zoey Stark. Becky then ended up hitting the Becksploder into the LED barricade to Zoey Stark, to which Becky ended up going for the cover, and Stark ended up kicking out. Becky Lynch got Zoey Stark in the ring, and Becky Lynch then pulled the table out from under the ring, which got a big ovation. Stark then baseball slided Becky Lynch, and she kept shouting that Memphis doesn't deserve tables. So she tried to put down one of the legs of the table, but she couldn't. So Zoey Stark got Becky Lynch back into the ring. She ended up snapping Becky off the top rope. Stark then ended up grabbing a chair, and she started viciously beating Becky Lynch's spine with the chair. Stark then ended up setting Becky Lynch up with a chair on her chest. Stark ended up hitting a slingshot twist and plancha, and she ended up going for the cover, to which Becky ended up kicking out. So Becky might have hurt her knee from that because the chair ended up hitting Becky's knee. So Stark ended up putting another chair on Becky Lynch. She ended up going up to the top rope. Becky then ended up getting up. She ended up throwing the chair into Stark's head. Becky then ended up hitting the superplex onto the pile of chairs to Zoey Stark. So Becky ended up going for the cover, and Stark ended up kicking out. So Becky Lynch then cleared off the commentary table. She ended up putting Zoey Stark on it. Becky then ended up going for the manhandle slam through the table, but Stark ended up fighting out. And then Trish Stratus returned to ringside, and she ended up sweeping Becky Lynch's feet. Stark then ended up kicking Becky Lynch in the face, to which she ended up going for the cover, to which Becky Lynch ended up kicking out, and this was on the commentary table. So Stark ended up attacking Becky Lynch. She climbed the barricade. Lynch ended up knocking Zoey Stark into the timekeeper's area, and she ended up beating Trish Stratus down. Becky Lynch then climbed the table. She ended up going for the manhandle slam on Zoey Stark, but Trish Stratus ended up attacking her. Stratus then ended up hitting a bulldog through a table in the crowd to Becky. So Zoey Stark ended up going for the cover, to which Becky kicked out. Trish Stratus and Zoey Stark ended up double teaming on Becky Lynch through the crowd. So they ended up climbing up some crates for a double team bulldog to Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch ended up fighting Zoey Stark off. Becky Lynch then ended up ducking a chick kick from Trish. Becky ended up going for the manhandle slam on Trish Stratus, but Zoey Stark ended up attacking Becky. Stark then ended up swinging wildly, and Zoey Stark ended up hitting Trish Stratus, knocking her off the crates, and Trish Stratus ended up going through a table on the concrete floor. So the camera ended up going back, and all we saw was Zoey Stark and Becky Lynch both shocked. So then Becky ended up hitting Zoey Stark with the manhandle slam through a table on the concrete, and Becky ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Becky Lynch ended up winning the match. Overall, the match was not bad. It was fine for what it was. But overall, Monday Night Raw tonight, okay show it was. Wasn't bad, didn't hate it, wasn't boring, though, but coming off of All In, of course, All In was the much better show. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out my AW All-In review if you guys haven't seen it. Like I said, posted it earlier today, so give that a watch. Won't be reviewing Dynamite on Wednesday, so there will be no Dynamite review on Wednesday. But anyways, until next video, I'll see you all later.